Hi everybody, thank you for joining me here. I wanted to give you a medical update because my medical mystery's been solved and I'm pretty excited about that. Basically, those of you who are regular viewers here, you know that I've been having a lot of medical trouble for the past few years. Very exhausted all the time, tremors, my hands curling and locking, and all kinds of things. And I pretty well thought that I had some sort of autoimmune disease that perhaps was going to kill me, and I had started to see a neurologist, and she was running tests to find out what was going on. Now, in the meantime, I started to have some really negative thoughts of, oh my gosh, this is horrible, I have no life, I can't do anything, I sleep all the time, I can't keep going on like this is awful. And my thoughts became so negative that I set up an appointment with a counselor. I started a search to find one, first of all, that would accept my insurance. And that was hard. But finally, one of the psychologist organizations that didn't accept my insurance actually referred me to an agency that did. And it turned out I was incredibly lucky because of this. I got hooked up with a counselor named Melissa, and she is the perfect fit for me. She's an excellent counselor, has a great personality, and just I feel really comfortable there, and she really is helpful to me, so that's great. She has a way of viewing things and stating things that it really gets through to me, which is something you need with a psychiatrist or a psychologist, as well as just feeling very comfortable talking to her. So that's nice. I set up the appointment with her. I went to my initial appointment, okay? And she did, I had told her that I'm desperate, that I'm miserable, that I was having negative thoughts, and, not of doing anything stupid, just really miserable. And I figured that the reason for it might have a lot to do with the fact that I've been so physically sick. Oh look, cat ear. I don't know if you can see it, but Gracie's sitting with me being petted, and you can kind of see her ear. But so I went and had my first meeting with her, during which I had told her when I set the appointment that I needed to be evaluated in terms of mental health, and to get treated I needed some help. I was desperate. And so I got in with her first initial appointment, just talking and asking me about my history and symptoms, and just asking different questions. She came up with a preliminary diagnosis of bipolar 1. And at her second appointment, the following week, she did an official evaluation which confirmed her suspicions, and she gave me the official diagnosis of bipolar 1. The very next day, I had an appointment with the neurologist. And in the course of our appointment, I told her that I had received this diagnosis, and she was pleased as punch. I mean, she was really bordering on excited, and she said that actually that had confirmed her suspicions, that she, the neurologist, had suspected all along that what we were going to discover was that all of my neurological problems and things were caused by bipolar disorder. And the reason for this is that dopamine, in addition to playing, which is the chemical that's the problem, that's responsible for bipolar, whereas like the straight depression and stuff, my understanding, if I understand correctly, it's caused by a serotonin problem. So that explains why the upping the doses over and over again of my antidepressants wasn't helping, because antidepressants were treating me for a problem I didn't have. But dopamine, in addition to helping regulate mood, also plays a role in nerve and muscle function. So basically my nervous system damage is caused by the bipolar. And So according to the neurologist, unfortunately the damage is done. It's permanent in terms of the tremors and things like that. But on the bright side, I now have a diagnosis. So I know what I'm dealing with, and had the disorder continued in the way it had been most of my life, I probably would have never sought treatment, because I was basically always, just about always, really, really up, and had occasional depressive episodes that didn't last more than a few months. And so how I saw myself and how a lot of other people saw me was simply as being someone who's really hyperactive, really, really active and happy, and unfortunately has this problem where on occasion I have a depressive episode. I thought that's what was going on too. Like I said, had that been the case, even if I had received a diagnosis of bipolar, I don't think I would have sought any kind of treatment, because I was generally up and only had the occasional downs that I could wait out. Unfortunately, since I got sick several years ago, I've been clinically in a bipolar depression that the counselor has deemed to be severe. And that explains why I sleep all the time and things like that. So, between the severity and the long-lasting nature of this episode, and with the fact that it's causing physical damage to my nervous system, really the only viable option I have at this point is to pursue treatment. Medical treatment. I've already scheduled an appointment with a psychiatrist. Unfortunately, the nearest appointment they had, the soonest they could get me in, is a month from now. And that is what it is, I have to wait. But like I said, I don't feel that really there's much choice in the matter at this point. It's not the kind of thing where avoiding treatment with medicine is an option, because it is so severe. And so I will be going that route, and here are some of my general basic understandings of bipolar at this point. I'll be learning more, researching more, talking to professionals and things like that, and as I do, I'll share what I learn with you guys, because some of you might have the same problem or know someone who does, and I might be able to help you. But at this point, I just have some basic understanding. Of course, the bipolar is, and I think most of us know this, is basically, it's a mood disorder where you experience really high highs and really low lows. So your moods aren't regulated. You go to the two poles of emotion, and therefore can be very non-functional at times. And I guess bipolar is a lot more difficult to treat than anxiety and depression. The medicines for bipolar, there are a lot of them out there, and there are a lot of newer ones that aren't as harsh as the older ones. And some of the bipolar medications can have really severe side effects. I think the worst of them, it can be up to and including death, but they don't put you on those right away. Each person is different, and the medications that work for them is different and very unique to the individual. So what they do is they try you out on the most mild drugs at first, and things can get a little worse before they get better, and they try you out and they work until they find that cocktail that's right for you. And even once you find the correct medication, it's not a one and done situation. You will be going along on that medication for a while, and then you'll start to have symptoms, and they'll need to tweak them again. And if the more mild ones don't work to treat you, then you have to go with the harsher drugs. And if you have to take the harsher drugs, the really harsh drugs that can be dangerous, they do monitor you very closely to try to make sure that nothing bad happens to you. So that's where we are now with that, and I admit it, I'm afraid of the treatment. I'm afraid of the medicine. And I debated before I did this video whether to say that I was afraid or nervous. And so I had to really kind of think on it. Which one am I? Am I just nervous? No, I'm a little bit more than nervous. I'm scared. I admit it. But it helps that I don't really feel there's an option. So that helps me be less afraid, because I guess just because being afraid would be wasted energy. You know I have to do it. So we're going to go and we're going to take care of this, and we're going to get started going down that road. And I'll be dragging you guys along with me if you're willing to let me. And so hopefully we learn a lot together. And, for my own sake, hopefully the treatment, we find something that works pretty quickly and easily, and I end up being a functional person, at least to some degree. I mean, I still have all the other health problems, but if I'm not sleeping all the time, I can at least have a life, right? I get to visit with you guys more often. That'd be nice. So yeah, that's where we are. And I'm pleased to find out that's why I'm always sleeping. That's why I'm so tired. That's why I'm having the neurological problems. It's not ALS or something like that that's going to kill me in this horribly slow and painful way. And, God bless anyone who has to suffer with anything like that. Just horrible stuff. And I'm just lucky that what I have is what I have as opposed to what it could have been. So thank you for joining me for this update. And like I said, medical mystery solved. So that's good. It's nice to know what you're fighting. So anyway, thanks again. And I hope that you join me again soon. We have a lot going on here. And hopefully we'll have a lot of really, really fun projects to share with you. Thanks again. Bye-bye.